Meeting, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Our first order of business is we have two council members that are on Zoom, so we have to get their approval by council to allow them to Zoom in. Councilman Evans and Councilman Updike, can you hear us?
I can hear you good.
All right. Then Vice Mayor, Updike, can you tell us why you're not here and where you are?
Well, I'm in eastern Tennessee, and we've got some family outings that we had scheduled that had to be coordinated with fellow that works with Liberty University and weather, and we had everything lined up until we changed our meeting dates, and so that sort of created a rub there. So hopefully I can attend tonight by way soon.
And we appreciate it, and that's what happened to me last week. Is council okay with that?
I'll make a motion, we allow it.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Haley made the motion, and Councilman Foreman made the second. Roll call.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike? Sorry.
Aye.
And Mayor Stanley?
Mr. Evans and Mr. Updike can't vote until they're in. Now Mr. Updike can vote for the next one.
Okay. Councilman Evans, can you tell us where you are and why you cannot attend the meeting?
Yes, sir. Anyway, everyone knows, Mr. White had a stroke about a month ago, and so we had to plan some out-of-town rehab. And make sure that's where I can't make sure. So I apologize.
So he's for a medical reason.
Right, yes. And that is fine. We miss you, but we understand. Can I hear a motion for that?
So moved.
Councilman, same ones, Councilman Haley and Councilman Foreman. Roll call.
Okay, Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right, y'all are in and ready to go. All right.
Outstanding.
Yes. All right, approval of minutes. I think you all have had a chance to look at them. Any additions or changes? Then they stand approved as is. Report of Town Manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Stanley, members of council. Mainly just want to mention, and you're probably already aware, that there are many events commemorating the anniversary of D-Day beginning on Thursday of this week. Bauer Center is the site of an exhibit featuring the works of Charles Schultz that kicks off Thursday afternoon, I believe. Friday evening will include a light and sound presentation entitled When We Went In that will take place at the D-Day Memorial. The annual Remembrance Ceremony, sponsored by the National D-Day Memorial Foundation, will take place on Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. And the Bedford Boys Tribute Center will host a wreath-laying ceremony in front of the Bedford County Courthouse on Saturday at 5:45 p.m. So look forward to welcoming many guests into town beginning later this week.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appearances before council, I think we only have one. Mr. Irvin Reynolds, come on up, give your name, address, and
Good evening. My name is Irvin Reynolds. I'm the pastor of Bethel Baptist Church of Evington. My address is 113 Fieldbrook Place, Forest. It's great to be with you folks tonight. I want to share a scripture and then a prayer, okay? My favorite verse is from the Old Testament. It's Jeremiah 33:3 that says, "Call unto me and I'll answer you, and I'll tell you great and mighty things which you do not know." I would just like to tell you folks tonight that that's a good place to start, and often it's just used as a last resort. So we want to make sure of that. If you would, join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening. Lord, we thank you for the freedom we have in our country that allows us to gather freely in this place tonight. And may we never take that for granted. We thank you for the privilege of community and for serving those who live among us. We lift up the town of Bedford here tonight, especially all those who serve as first responders, the law enforcement, the medical community, and those here on this town council I pray for. Lord, I ask that you give them a spirit of discernment this evening, wisdom even beyond their own, and the awareness that we're nothing without you. So we pray for the courage this evening that's needed for them to make decisions that will promote the flourishing of this town and this community. So Father, I ask that you bless the members of the town council. Bless them with patience and understanding, Lord, as they navigate challenges. And I ask that you unite them in serving with both integrity and grace. And may Bedford be a town of prosperity, peace, and respect for one another. And we commit the work of this meeting into your hands. And Lord, I ask that you guide all their words, their actions, and even their thoughts to that only which glorifies you. And Father, I pray for Councilman Updike while he's away, and Councilman Evans. And Lord, I pray for Councilman Evans as he's undergoing this rehab, that Lord, it would be effective in his life. I pray that tonight. And Lord, I ask all these things in the matchless name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Council comments. Well, Dave, since you're out there on the island, let's just start with you. And
I can't hear you. There's an
it's probably echo.
Well, just, yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. Actually, the town manager stole a lot of my thunder, so I won't reiterate what's going on with D-Day this weekend. But I would like to ask a question of you if I could. Could you just give us I've had a lot of people ask, just give us the quick update on Old Yellow?
Oh, sure. Did speak with Dave McCormick of Waukesha just last week, and I will tell you the delay in construction was due to a stop work order issued by the building official. There was some disagreement over the plans and documents that were submitted that has since been resolved. However, as developers often do, Dave sent his people to work on other projects, and he's working on getting them back. As of last week, that will take place in a couple of weeks. Still moving forward with development of that as a hotel. It will happen to have washers and dryers in it, which is somewhat unusual, and there's been a lot of chatter about that in the community, I understand, but Dave explained that's an effort to be competitive in the market against other hotels. So he also noted, I asked about the status of the apartment buildings, and as of last week, 45 of those have been leased, which is about 3/4 of the way. So that's what I learned last week.
Thank you, sir. That's all I've got. I just curious.
Stacy?
Just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's great to see the same face, and good to see John back again, second week in a row. So John's the man. John's been around for a long time. So, and just want to thank everybody for being here.
Be June 10th.
So what?
Be June 10th. The June 10th.
Oh, June the 10th?
Flag Day.
Huh?
Flag Day.
Oh, Flag Day. I'm sorry. Forgive me about that. Forgot about one thing. Thank Councilman Espilota for reminding me. Flag Day for the Elkstein Hill will be June the 10th. I think it's at 9 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, in the Center Park Square there here. So if you can attend, we appreciate it if you can attend.
All right, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to recognize we've had a lot of police officers this past week injured and murdered this past week. So I want to think of those agencies that have had that happen and keep our agency in our thoughts. Also, I went down there this week. I was invited by the chief and the accreditation manager to visit the agency and see their evidence room. And it is amazing the work that they've done and the way it looks. She's done a great job the way it looks. So I wanted to commend the chief and tell her that, make sure she gets a message from council that it really looks good.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the Memorial Day ceremony that we went to this past Memorial Day, and the Mothers of Veteran Suicide came in the Wednesday before. They stayed until Monday. They went up to the Memorial Day. I want to give a shout out to Doug and Denise and Leslie for giving them tours around town, and I introduced them to Bart up there. They had such a great time. They said everybody here was so welcoming to them, opened up to them, and was great with them, that they're going to make this a yearly place to come and visit for their... They do 3 or 4 getaways a year, and they usually just go every different place, but she said that they're going to start making Bedford one of their yearly places to come tour, because everybody was so nice to them, so it was really good about that. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Well, I've got a couple of things here. John, it is good to see you back. I've got to say this. I used to save old newspapers of sporting events and things going on in the town. And I ran across one back in the 70s, where there was about twice the size of what it was then. And it had a picture of you in your column, and you looked quite a bit different back then, about 30 or 40 years ago. But you still look sharp. We appreciate what you do. Last Wednesday and Thursday, I attended what was called the BOOMS program, Building Opportunities on Main Street program. They were an organization that came through and gave a lot of good ideas for the downtown area and things we should look at, vacant buildings and so forth. It was very good. Then Thursday they had a wrap up and gave a good PowerPoint, and it was a lot of great ideas. The general public took part Wednesday night, going around and giving ideas on what to do with the different buildings and all that. But again, I hope we can see some results from it, and it takes traction and takes off. I too want to mention the D-Day Saturday, 11 o'clock, to honor what Bedford is known for, the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice. All those who can attend, please come and attend. Start 11 o'clock, I do believe. And that is all I have. Next is report of council committees. I don't think we had any revisions to the agenda. None. All right, public hearings. Business, professional, occupational licensing tax for calendar year 2027. Mr. Warner.
Be advised that a public hearing on the tax rates will be held on Tuesday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, to wit, to amend Town Code Section 54-413.2 to add a tax rate of 20 cents per $100 gross receipts of retailers in excess of $10 million.
All right, the public hearing is now open. Anyone who'd like to come up and say anything about it, like it, don't like it, or comments, you are welcome to come up now. I don't think we have anyone that's wanting to speak on it, so public hearing is now closed. No consent agenda, no old business, new business. Brief presentation regarding the operations and outcomes of the finance department. Ms. Cantrell, you are up.
All right, good evening, council. I appreciate the opportunity to present on our department tonight. One of the things I wanted to mention, we do have a PowerPoint here, but there's also a one-page summary that should be provided that has a lot of statistics on the department, our org chart, and different things. One of my favorite quotes, I've used this before, so you've probably seen it, is that while America runs on Duncan, governments at all levels run on public monies generated through taxes, fees, and rates, intergovernmental grants and loans, and for capital improvements through borrowed money and from capital markets or financial institutions. To assure accountability, transparency, and long-term stability in the use of these funds, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, or it's called GASB, sets standards for measuring the reporting activity in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. So if any of you have seen in my office, we have a thick blue book called the GAFR, or the Blue Book, and that's the rule book that we follow for government accounting. So yes, we have debits and credits, but we have a slightly different rule book from all of the other, what is called FASB, the Federal Accounting Standards Board for private sector. In our department, we do have 9 full-time positions. That includes me as your finance director and treasurer. The deputy treasurer is Shannon Phillips. Our treasurer clerk is Sam Barone. Our treasurer clerk is also Chase Mahan, and our treasurer clerk 2 is Sarah Wilkes. Utility billing is the supervisor is Chris Pack. The clerk is Mary Salmon. The human resource assistant is Beth Clayton, and the assistant finance director is Crystal McGraw. And I'll do my best to kind of mention some of the staff members throughout the presentation that work on different operational areas that our department sees. In many governments, these things are broken out into several different departments. I kind of consider us a nice one-stop shop. We have several things under one house. So one of the first things I wanted to review is what do we do and where does it fall in a calendar timeline? Several things are done all year long. That includes investments, bank reconciliations, payment processing, meals tax, collections, cutoff, and DMV stops. Those are done by our treasurer's office daily. The other thing is personal property taxes. So we get those assessments in October, and then we issue bills and we collect those bills through the due date of December 5th. So that's got a season of October through December. We also have real estate taxes, so which is April through June, and then it comes again in October and December. We also have the audit process, and that actually starts in May and it ends around end of November, early December. It overlaps slightly with the budget process, which begins around October and ends right now at the end of May and early June. And similarly, the finance side, there's certain things that happen every day, all day. That includes accounting, financial reporting, payroll, risk management, utility billing, general billing, and purchasing. We also have unclaimed property and debt set off. Those files are sent to the state in November of each year, and then we process a lot of those claims from the state when taxes are filed, so that's February and March. We also have W-2s and 1099s, and that's in January and February. We have open enrollment in April and May. We have debt compliance and financial assurance in November and December. And we also added business license to our department this year, and that runs January through March. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is accounting and reporting. So this is mostly handled by Chris Pack, Crystal McGraw, and myself. This includes anything from debits and credits like you traditionally would think of accounting to reports and automated tasks. So attached, it's very small, but this is a lot of what we live and breathe in throughout the day. So you can see a copy of a journal entry up at the top. We also have our general ledger and that account inquiry. We have a year-to-date budget report, which has our revenues and expenses that we review. It has our chart of accounts. It has a history graph included on our account inquiry. We also have a month-end manager where we have to close out months. And then we have a grant manager that we recently started using last year that connects to the general ledger. So we can quickly find our grants and we can calculate how much of federal funds are being spent. Software has automated many of our tasks, but I do want to say it does require a deep understanding of accounting concepts, especially if the software is not working correctly. You have to understand how that transaction was supposed to work in order to fix that. Reconciliation of accounts, review of reports, correction of coding errors, re-review of reports. This is something that we do every month. And we process things, clean, rinse, and repeat. The journal entries for our town are all processed by Chris Pack and Crystal McGraw, and we have to have supervisor approval for those. So we have everything processed in the system by them, and then I review and post all journal entries for the town. So between all three of us, we have reviewed and posted 5,000 journal entries last year. The next topic area is accounts payable and vendors. So invoices are actually processed by each department, and we have a workflow approval set up. And so you can kind of see in the top left corner, if this is actually the police department, the first level of approval is our police chief. So the police assistant manager keys it in, the police chief approves it, and then goes to the town manager. And then the last step there is Crystal, who is reviewing it to post to pay the check. At the end of the fiscal year, this can be pretty time intensive because we not only check that the invoice matches what was keyed into the system by the department, we also have to make sure that the date is correct, because if it was for last fiscal year, we have to make sure it's posted in last fiscal year. So it can get pretty time intensive in July and August. At the end of every calendar year, we also issue 1099s, so we have to review them, see if they need a 1099, issue it, and then we file it with the IRS in January. We also, after every check run, issue positive pay and ACH filter files with the bank. So we have to go into the bank and we have to upload an ACH file if they're getting paid electronically, or we have to upload a positive pay file that tells the bank who we issue checks to and how much. And that protects our checking account from anybody having access to it, to be honest. This past year, we had 383 vendor changes. We processed 7,946 invoices and 87 1099s. And this is handled by the Assistant Finance Director, Crystal McGraw. But how we do vendor changes, because they're so important, is that we have a workflow set up. So she keys in all vendor changes from the W-9 and the ACH information, and I have to approve it and post it in the system. So like everything, we have a two-step process on most all of our procedures. The next step is audit and compliance. So pretty much our whole department has pieces associated with audit. We get a request from our auditors. They come twice a year, preliminary field work and final field work. Between those two things, we have 200 plus items that we have to review and provide to them. That can be work papers. When I say work paper, that's normally something in Excel that we have to go through and calculate and provide. It could be scanned items such as invoices. It could be screenshots from our VRS system. It's pretty much anything that they ask for, we have to go and either prepare it or compile it. Adjustments have to be made to move from cash accounting to modified accrual accounting or even full accrual accounting. And we do have several component units that we include in this as well. The management discussion and analysis letter is manually completed and it takes considerable time. We have to manually calculate that all the exhibits tick and tie, as I like to say. And then we also apply for the GFOA award and implement all of the comments and changes. And then the state APA transmittal is prepared by town staff and it's reviewed by the external auditor. And this one we kind of like, we have all the colors on that spreadsheet and then we say this amounts here, go to this form here. And so we have a trail that our auditors then go and follow. And then we go to budget administration. So this is handled mostly by Crystal and myself. We manage the annual process in the software. We open the new year, we send out instructions for input. We do zero-based budgeting. So that means when we set up the year, the budget request is zero. Our departments have to key in from scratch. We send out instructions for CIP and personnel. We review the data entry. The town manager is responsible for the budget proposal, but we do help and assist with preparing all of the reports for his review. And then this year we also set up a new budget committee at a staff level. We also prepare revenue forecasts for the general fund and solid waste fund. We prepare notices, action forms, ordinances. We maintain all the budget book pages. So you can see kind of the file document there. Each of these sections of the budget document has its own file that we compile together for the final PDF. We apply for the GFOA award. We post the final budget in the software, and as you can see with the binding machine, we also print and bind the budget in-house as well. And then we go over to business license and local tax. So business license was pulled into our billing department this January, which is Mary and Chris. The treasurer's office also handled meals tax and lodging tax. And then I'm including in here as well, we do offer cigarette stamps. So we get orders of stamps and we have to FedEx and send rolls to the companies to apply to cigarettes. We also maintain the bank franchise tax where we get the forms and we review what's been paid to us. We're trying to add more software options for these taxes to make it more user-friendly where people can e-file and we can review those. This past year, we issued 497 business licenses. And then debt and investment management. This one's getting better because we paid off a lot of our debt this year and going into next year. But we do have several DEQ annual compliance letters that we have to supply. Like I included this one Appendix C that we have to do every single year for DEQ, which is basically financial calculation by your chief financial officer to prove that you don't need debt to fund your underground storage tanks. And then we also maintain amortization schedules. We pay the debt and we code it to different GL codes. And then we also handle our investments in-house. So we evaluate how much cash flow we need for the month, and then we make sure that we have enough in our bank account to cover all of our bank fees so that we don't get a charge. So it's called a compensated cash balance. The next area is human resources and payroll. So HR technically falls under the town manager, but payroll falls under finance. We do have an HR assistant who provides both HR and payroll, and there is often crossover between the two. There's administration of the policy manual. On the payroll, I included a copy right in the center. We have a 3-page checklist for every payroll run. So even if it's just one check, we still need to go through the whole 3-page checklist to complete a payroll. We manage benefits such as Virginia Retirement System, Local Choice, which is Anthem. We also offer several optional insurance coverages like AFLAC. We also do the drug screenings and the wellness clinic. We do job posting. We send resumes to departments to review. We do onboarding and offboarding. And then we have several big projects in process that we're really excited about. One is the time clock. So you can see an example in the corner. And then also a mobile time clock app that we are working on. This is going to eliminate the need for paper and make our processes automated. And then the other one is an employee portal, so employees can log in to receive copies of their W-2s. They can make changes to their tax deductions. They can also receive copies of pay stubs, change their emergency contact. It's going to make it a much more user-friendly and up-to-date system. We also do W-2 administration. We had 111 W-2s that we issued last year, and that includes sending them to the IRS or the Social Security Administration and to the Virginia Department of Tax. We also have quarterly 941 reports that we have to file, and we make bi-weekly payments to the IRS and the Virginia tax payment after each payroll. We also have garnishments and child support. And there's a general ledger component to this as well, because every payroll has payroll accounting and reconciling. We had 162 payroll changes last year that we did. And one comment, of all of our payroll checks in the corner up there, we do have to manually fold and stuff those as well. So that does take a little bit of time. And then we flip over to procurement and purchasing. And I do want to thank Mike because he has helped us a lot. We now have templates for many of the things that we need to do, such as an RFP, an ITV, we have emergency sole source, all of those templates, which really help our departments make it easy and make it easier to be compliant. We help our departments with the template. We assign the next project number. We post it on EVA. We receive the responses. We schedule the evaluations. We process the notices and get contracts signed. We're very involved now in the purchasing process. We also, when we issue purchase orders, check for compliance with our purchasing policy. Do they have their quotes? Is it scanned in? So we do all of that piece. And then we also issue purchase cards and we upload statements. And then we help with public surplus and gov deals to get sale of assets and get money back for the town. EVA's been a big change and improvement for us. And I also want to highlight the Assistant Finance Director, Crystal, did a big implementation moving our P card to Bank of America with the state contract. And that was a heavy lift, and really appreciate her time doing that. We should now get cash rewards associated with our P cards where we didn't before. And this is probably the most fun pictures of the entire presentation, but not the most fun for us working with. So we also do risk management. So that includes insurance claims. So we have workers' comp claims, property claims, general liability claims. You can see several pictures that we have from some of the claims that we worked on over the last couple years. We also started a light duty program, and I don't know if you can see that Versa chart right there, But in 2021, 2022, we had incurred losses of $226,000, and it was at that point that we said, we need to do something. And so we instituted a light duty program, and we've seen a huge decrease in claims here. It's been very rewarding to see. So in 22-23, our claims dropped to 94,000. 23-24, they dropped to 29,000. And then in 24-25, they dropped to 14,000. So we've seen a big improvement with our workers' comp claims. We also are promoting safety culture. We schedule free on-site training through Versa with Eddie Shelton, and we had several employees complete the OSHA 10 certification last year. So in total, we had 42 risk management claims that we processed last year. And then this is probably the one you're all familiar with. These are the face of the town. We have volume is what I have written down for our treasurer's office. So we had almost 100,000 transactions that they processed last year with a staff of 4. They collect payments for bills, they provide customer service, they answer questions. We do in-house collections through liens, DMV stop, debt set-off. We run the disconnect process, and it's now manual because our software wasn't set up to do the 45-day rules, so they have to manually review and prepare that. We do remote deposit, we make bank deposits, and we also just started a new electronic lender process this year. They balance cash drawers, reconcile accounts receivable, and the main bank account. They are very busy. We issued 45 cigarette stamp rolls last year. We did 172 DMV stops. We had 684 debt set-off claims, 4,272 real estate bills, 11,726 disconnects, and this is the winner, 99,809 cashiering transactions. And then the last one I wanted to review is our utility billing and customer service department. So that is a staff of 2, Mary and Chris. They manage 7,000 plus accounts. They do applications, cutoffs, they initiate work orders, review reading files, they create ACH files for auto pay accounts, they manage the budget plan, rates, journal entries from the system, refunds, customer questions. In total, they issued 78,200 utility bills last year. They print in-house, and then it's picked up by a mailing company. We also save monthly reports. We create internal reporting, such as the power report. We initiate payment on the hydro, solar, and AMP accounts, and then we also send tax information to BRPA and the county for local taxes. So you can see one of the stacks here. This is actually one of our smaller cycles. In cycle 2, there's normally 2 bins like that after we do a printing. And that probably wasn't as brief as you had hoped, but I hope it answered several questions on the finance department and what a typical day might look like for us.
I think a typical day is just busy as usual.
Yes.
Y'all have any questions, comments? So Ann, you had mentioned a pop quiz after this. You want to give the pop quiz to us?
Sure. How many cashiers?
14,000, never mind. And I appreciate it, y'all. You and your staff do a great job. Just keep it up.
Thank you.
All right. We can see you clearly now. All right, next, new business, ordinance, business professional and occupational licensing tax for calendar year 2027. Mr. Warner.
The current business professional and occupational licensing, or BPOL tax, was reviewed during the fiscal year 2027 budget process. An amendment to the town code was proposed for the retailer category only, which would include a higher rate of tax on retailers for gross receipts in excess of $10 million. All other tax rates will remain unchanged. The proposed change is to section 54-413.2, and it basically applies to gross receipts of retailers in excess of $10 million. That rate will be increased from 15 cents per $100 to 20 cents per $100. A notice of public hearing was published in the Bedford Bulletin on May 13, 2026. Tonight, Town Council is requested to consider adoption of the ordinance presented.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Councilman Foster made the motion and Councilman Haley seconded the motion. What questions y'all have, if any? I think we're good on that. We've talked about this in depth before. Shawna?
Mr. Foreman,
Aye.
Mr. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Haley,
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito,
Aye.
Mr. Updike,
Aye.
Mr. Evans,
Aye.
Mayor Stanley.
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
All right. Next is ordinance adoption of budget fiscal year 2026 through 2027. Mr. Warner.
Fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget was presented to Town Council at the budget work session on May 2nd. After input from the work sessions, the budget was revised to reflect the recommendations of Town Council. Notice of public hearing was advertised in the Bedford Bulletin on May 6th. Public hearing was held on May 19th. Fiscal year 26-27 budget summary has been included in your packet. Total for all funds proposed is $44,813,561. Section 58.1-3005 of the Code of Virginia of 1950, as amended, requires the council shall on a regular basis make an appropriation of funds for expenditure by the town. The attached ordinance directs that the funds as set out in the budget for fiscal year 26-27 be appropriated and set aside to the appropriate funds, and authorizes the town manager to expend the funds in accordance with said budget and in accordance with prior appropriations. The ordinance denoting the original appropriations has been posted in accordance with Section 2-54 of the Town Code. Tonight, Town Council is requested to adopt the budget for fiscal year 2026-27 and approve the ordinance appropriating funds. I do want to bring one thing to your attention, one change in the position allocations, and that is within the Information Technology Department. We have a current position entitled Network Technician at grade 16 that will be replaced by a new position entitled Help Desk Technician at grade 14. So they'll both be listed, but we only intend to fill one at the lower rate.
Okay. All right. Do we hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Do you want to discuss it first?
Yes, I would
All
like
right,
to
that's
discuss it
fine.
first. Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
So there's a couple questions I have, and, you know, we talked about it in the work session, but I've talked to town manager and I've talked to a couple council people. There's 2 or 3 things in here I want to address or whatever, so please bear with me and hear me out if you don't mind. The garbage truck replacement, we did talk about that. We did ask Tom about the truck, if he could make it for another year or 2 with the trucks he had. He has 3 trucks now. They're all operational. I know they do have maintenance on here and there or whatever. But we did have a discussion of talking about doing away with residential trash pickup. So I would like to ask that truck be taken out of this year's budget and maybe put into a contingency fund for the following year, just in case if we do away. It's no use buying a brand new truck, then we do away with services within 2 years, we got a truck half price, well, so. Second thing I would like to talk about is in the electric department. There's a truck in there for about, if I correct me, around $425,000, around $500,000 for the truck. I did ask during the work session, could we divide the payments up, half this year, half next year, because it'll take, what, 2 to 3 years to get the truck, John?
That truck was ordered several years ago, probably 4 years ago. So we don't know when it will come. We believe it will be coming in this fiscal year. So that's why that request is in there.
No, he's asking the one that's in this budget, how long will it take for that one to be here?
We think it will come in the next fiscal year, in this 27.
About a year, do you think it'll be within a year it would be here?
We think so. The manufacturer, ever since COVID, they've had all sorts of slowdowns and deliveries and supply chain issues, but we had a truck in the last fiscal year budget, which we are expecting that one by the end of the calendar year. And this other truck, we expect that one sometime in the fiscal year. So it could come in 3 months, it could come in 12 months. So
I know probably about, I think it's, remind me, 2022 or 2023, we split payments on one of your trucks. We pay you half payment one year and half payment next year to get the truck, correct?
I don't recall, honestly. I don't recall. That truck is slated to replace one that's been in service for about 12 years. And it's just, the truck that we have now is got many hours on it because it was used very, very heavily. So very frustrating for the guys to come in the middle of the night and not be able to get the truck started or use one. So for us, it's kind of critical that our claim to fame is fast response times. So anything that kind of jeopardizes that really hurts us. So I think because we expect that in this fiscal year, I really would like to see that appropriation stay where it is. The truck that we're expecting by the end of the year is actually in last year's budget. So, but they're two completely different trucks. One is a large bucket truck, which we need desperately because the truck that's replacing is on its third engine and it's just not working well. And that one we will dispose of. So,
I understand where you're coming from, because I know if you don't have the equipment to do what you need to do, it's hard to do it. But in the process, you know, we did split the payment one time before, and you know, I think it took you about 3 years to get the truck or whatever.
Yeah.
My point is, you know, it's a nationwide thing where electric rates are going up. People are paying more for electricity. Everybody is. It's not just the town of Bedford. It's not AEP. It's not Dominion. It's not so on like that. It's everybody's paying more for electricity. But you know, the average person they hear, they don't understand some of this stuff where we discuss them about trucks and electric rates and stuff like that. So to educate them, I mean, that's all I would ask, if we could do half this year and half next year on the truck. And maybe you probably get the truck within 2 years, what I said.
well, again, we expect to get it in 27 fiscal year. That's what the manufacturers told us. So if we want to, the only way we could do that, if that's coming in next year, we'd have to finance half of it.
Okay.
Something like that, which I've been working for going on 12 years to get us debt-free. And we are debt-free. So I hate to see us go into debt for that amount. And keep in mind that there's room in the budget to pay for this that will not have an impact on rates. So there is a contingency in our budget, which is significant. We could use that money to offset any other additional costs that we might find this year. So I'm pretty confident that we'll do as we expect this year.
So one more question too, and then if anybody else has questions, that's up to them. So I know we've been doing a lot of contracting in town or whatever.
Yes.
PCC.
Yes.
I was looking through the budget item numbers. Where is that located in the budget where it's doing?
We don't pay for them. That's being paid by Chantel, Comcast, and the other attachers. The agreement we have for them is they work to our standards, but they're paid directly by these attachers. So there's nothing in the budget for that.
So we pay nothing for them?
We pay nothing for them. Now, if we use them for one of our projects or a job, like we had a pole hit down here at South Street.
Yes.
Okay. They had a crew here in town, so we didn't have to pay travel expenses. I don't mind calling them off of Comcast work. And so they could dedicate the time, and they work 10-hour days. So they could work that project and not have to pay overtime. Our guys were all out on different projects. That was an unexpected thing, that accident. So it was convenient to have the contractor do it. They could focus on it. They could get it done within their regular workday. And then the other thing is when we go to get reimbursed by the insurance company, we have more success. We'll just hand them a bill from the contractor because they tend to pick if we do it, we have to submit who worked on the job and what their rate was and all that information. And they tend to pick at our bills a little bit more than if we give them a contractor bill.
And I understand the insurance part, because, the insurance part will come later on, but in the process, we have to pay them up front, right?
Well, we do pay their bill, and the insurance does a fairly quick reimbursement for what they feel is covered for that situation. And then they'll go after whoever was at fault in the accident or caused the accident against their insurance company. And they often recover the full amount. But that might be somewhere down the road. But the majority of it's paid back by the insurance company.
And see, that's why I was asking about the line item, because we do pay contractors to do stuff once in a while or whatever. I was just trying to figure out where in the line item where we actually taking money from to pay this contract until we get the insurance money back.
Yeah, no, we don't have a line item for that because we get reimbursed for it, and that comes through recoveries and rebates account.
Thank you. What else?
Have we added in a person for tickets yet for the police department?
No, sir, we have not. Again, creating a separate position would require revenue to compensate for that, which we have not identified. However, Chief Moore's back there. I think the plan is to make use of existing personnel to enforce the changes in ticketing, but also, let me finish, we are looking at some technological approaches to that for enforcement. There's some devices we can deploy to assist with that would still have to be overseen by personnel. But the plan was, instead of creating a new position, which no revenues have been identified to support, to make use of existing personnel. And again, I'll defer to Chief Moore if I covered that incorrectly.
Well, see, like last week, I called the police. I talked to 4 people to get an officer out there. Because a car pulled in and parked, they just come right on down Main Street and they pulled in and parked over here, and this lady couldn't get out. She gets frustrated, so I called the police. Talked to 4 people, then the officer came and stuff and everything. So he writes a ticket to this one over here. While he's writing this car a ticket right here, this man just politely comes right in and pulls in and backs up the wrong way to the police officer. So he got 2 tickets out of 1 right there just off of that. I've called the police 4 times to come write tickets because I took pictures and with the times on them. I have yet to see a police officer show up. I had pictures of cars sitting with their rear end, sitting out in the street. Called the police, and nothing against you, Jim, but no, there's nothing. There's plenty of people and tickets that could be wrote to pay for that person's position and get the town money. Because just that one day that, I can't think of that little officer's name, he wrote 10 tickets on my 1 block. That was $300. That would have paid it ain't gotta be nobody fancy, somebody like Jim used to be, where working Monday through Friday for 6 hours with no insurance and no this. But that $300, that's just that one day of writing tickets right there on my 1 block would have paid his salary. You've got people that work at the courthouse and social services. I have called and called and called and called and called. 30-minute parking. We're going to sit there all day long. 4 times one day I called. One officer, nothing against you, Jim, one officer pulls up and sits and talks to the guy that I called the police on. And then drives by, waves at me, and goes on down the road. No ticket, bro. Lost money right there. They will pay for themselves.
I will say this. I believe in technology. And I know where you're going. I know what you're saying, Jay. But in my travels around, in Roanoke, they have machines where you can use your credit card to park for how many hours, and they'll charge your credit card and send you a bill. And what Mr. Warner's talking about is going in that direction. And now, yeah, it's going to take time. And we went from the old parking meters to where, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, to someone going around marking tires that can't do that anymore. So it's time we came into the 21st century and looked at technology as to what it can do for us. And I think that's the direction we're going in, that Mr. Warner, or trying to go at some point in time. That's where we'd like to be. Now, probably isn't going to go the speed of light that we'd like, but at the same time, that's where I would hope we would start looking at and go in that direction and let technology do our work for us.
But, you know, until then, look how much money we're losing. And then, again, too, talk to Brian. He has to drive up here every day. He has cameras. He has this little machine right there where you stick your card in. Ask him how many people a day walk over to that machine and just stand, and then go right in the courthouse. You know, he makes over $2,000 a month just off of people that don't pay to park. And that little bitty parking lot with 12 parking spaces, that's good money. And he has a machine. And he drives from out there off Peaks Road all the way into town just to get them. You know, sometimes machines are great, but sometimes people are still better.
And the machines do have to be overseen by people.
If someone has to monitor it somewhere.
And that's why I was gonna say, Mr. Mayor, with technology, you still have to have somebody to monitor somewhere along the line. So it's not just.
Someone in an office.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not on the street.
Yeah, but you still have to have someone to maintain it, so.
And it gives you printouts to where you know what's going
You have to
on.
think too about older people, trying to figure it out, how to work it, use it. Because, you know, a lot of older people, they're scared about putting their cards into stuff and everything.
Maybe that's what we can do when we retire. Help older people learn how to use them.
You are retired.
I'm just waiting for
We'll
more
stand you on the corner down there.
But no, your point's taken, Jay. We know that, and we're aware of that. And we, maybe something we can do in between. But, no, we are aware of that. And there's some business owners that park there a good part of the day too. So we are aware of that, but we'll do what we can at moving forward.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, in one of our previous council meetings, the public sort of was requesting about greater law enforcement presence as far as traffic-related stuff was going, especially around the Loop area. And I think the chief mentioned something about that he will soon have 3 additional officers coming out of the police academy. And once we get those, trained up, that he would have more people to do more things. So it's likely that with the additional personnel, being available to the chief, we'll be able to address some of those things.
Yeah. We hope so.
And we hope to introduce those officers at the next meeting, as a matter of fact.
Well, good. Look forward to it. Councilman Evans, you have anything?
I'd just like to echo what Councilman Updike just said. Yeah, I heard the chief say the same thing in the previous council meeting. Something about he's got 3 guys coming out of the academy next week, this week or something. And yes, he was going to step it up.
Okay. Anything else? To address the trash truck, I don't think that's going to be bought this year, is it?
I will tell you, it's something that can certainly be deferred till next year.
Yeah.
And we are re-examining the solid waste operation. We're currently in discussions with a party about taking over the transfer station. which would take it out as a public facility and turn it into private hands.
Yeah, I would be cautious about that because, again, we never know what the future holds or what direction we're going to go or how quickly things may go. But again, as I've said for a number of years, we try to look at what things do we not need to do that someone else can do better.
And I believe, Mayor, that that's in there as debt service as far as.
Yeah, I
And
think,
if it is, then we don't have to really adjust the budget.
not really, there's a contingency to handle the debt service, yes. So there's no objection. I think we can defer it for another year, and we can do that without having to make a material adjustment.
What about the half of the electric truck? I'm asking you.
That- Well, I think what John has said is that may come in next year, and we're gonna have to have the money to pay for it. Plus, I'm not really following the thought process here, to be perfectly honest, in that either way, the money's gotta be there to pay for it. So,
No, but you don't do about 250 this year, well, I said 250, it's a little bit less than 250 next year, so you have 250 in this budget and 250 in the next budget. So, then you know we're supposed to be debt-free in, what, next year, is that correct?
and John has said he's worked hard to be debt-free in his department, but either way, we gotta pay for it. So it's been budgeted, so I'm not sure.
I mean, it's really kind of offsetting the encumbrances of the discussion,
Yeah. No,
which, again, we'll do what you direct us to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be in favor of that, but it's up to council to.
If we did that, we'd have to delay the purchase is the only thing.
That's
the only
it.
thing I would think of
Yeah.
Stacy.
Well, we'll pay for it when it comes. That's,
Well, and you want to have the money there, not come back to council and say, can we get 250? Yeah.
If it was gonna take longer, then I would have been for.
Well, and John, and I'm not going to get into any of it, but the COVID really slowed things down considerably. I mean, you used to be able to get trucks in, line trucks in probably 3 years or so, and now you don't know. It's a back order or the parts are not there. I mean, it's a mess, but what that does, it affects your service restoration. I mean, the customers here are used to quick response and good service restoration. That's the bottom line, and they need the equipment to do it. And it's up to us to get the money to pay for it. So, but no, I'm think either way, we got a good budget here. We've made some additions, suggestions and all that, but I think it's good as is, and whatever changes in the next year or whenever will be adjusted, and some things may not be needed, so it'll be surplus, but that doesn't happen too often.
And in the spare vehicle, once it's replaced, that we sell it on the Gov.
Looking to John, that would be an operational decision if he surpluses it.
I thought he said he was gonna surplus it.
that'd be the intent.
Okay. All right. Are we good? Vice Mayor Updike and Councilman Evans, are y'all good?
We're good.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adopt
Okay.
the ordinance?
We usually do that at first, don't we?
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Councilman Foster made the motion. Second?
Second.
Vice Mayor Updike. Okay. Now, John?
Mr. Foster,
Oh, Darcy, I'm sorry.
Mr. Haley,
No.
Mr. Polito,
No.
Mr. Updike,
Aye.
Mr. Evans,
Aye.
Mr. Foreman,
Aye.
Mayor Stanley.
Aye.
Motion carries with 5 members voting aye.
All right. Last thing is the issuance of requests for proposals for conservation easement advisory services. Mr. Warner.
The town of Bedford owns several properties that are being reviewed by town council for several potential purposes, including the potential applicability of available conservation programs. In order to identify and maximize the benefits of such programs, staff has drafted a request for proposals designed to obtain expert assistance and advisement services. A draft of the proposed RFP has been submitted for your review. Qualified responses would then be evaluated by staff and reported to council for formal consideration at a later public meeting. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve publication of a request for proposals for conservation easement advisory services.
Okay. Do you all want to discuss this before making a motion, or does it really matter?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilman Foreman made the motion, Councilman Haley seconded the motion. What questions or discussion do we need?
So what properties does this refer to?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
This is just a first step to secure the services of people who can guide us. And I'll just say publicly, we have been contacted by a company that provides these services, and they wanted to engage in a contract, and I kind of told them, I need to stop this discussion because we need to procure you appropriately. So this is the first step would be to procure the services of someone who could then advise us as to what we could do with specific properties.
Yeah, okay.
Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just the first step in going down this road.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions?
So, one other question, Mr. Warner. In this process of doing this, at the end, if we decided to go this direction, whatever property it is,
Right.
will we still own the property or will they own the property?
Don't know. It's going to depend on what the consultant tells us. Again, it's kind of beyond the expertise of staff. There are people who handle conservation easement programs, and
I didn't know, I just asked.
the person I was talking to could probably answer that, but I didn't feel like we could enter into a unilateral agreement without at least seeing who else could provide the service.
And I think that's a good question. I think there are probably a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to right now, but we'll find out. Yeah. Vice Mayor Updike and Councilman Evans, y'all have any questions, comments?
Nothing.
Anything else? We good? Okay, Dorsey?
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
All right, I don't think there's any more business for the council. We are adjourned.